So here's what I love about this game. Both teams want it badly. Virginia Tech showed all of us how badly they wanted to get to this point, to the postseason, by the way they played so gritty and so determined in their last two games. And then there's a Rutgers team attempting to become a 10-win team for just the third time in 143 years of Rutgers football. Let's start with the Scarlet Knights. Here's what you can expect from Rutgers. A week ago, Matt Millen and I took a drive down to Piscataway, New Jersey to prepare for this broadcast. And we met a first-year head coach who clearly, you meet this guy just one time and you realize he has the smarts and the leadership of a long-time proven winner. Takes his job 2 days before signing day. And so much respect, he put together and held together a top 25 recruiting class. Hired 9 new assistants. And oh, by the way, that staff takes a team and wins 7 straight to open up their tenure, open up their season. Leads Rutgers to a share of a conference championship. Please welcome 2012 Co-Big East Coach of the Year, Rutgers head coach Kyle Flood. Welcome, Kyle. You know the challenge you have ahead of you tomorrow. I know how much respect you have for what you're up against here. Let's see what the Hokies are bringing here to Orlando. Virginia Tech Hokies, everyone. For so many of us who work in sports, I think one of the common attractions that we all have is the quality of greatness. We love to see it. We love to be around it. We love to be it. And through the years, we've had the chance to witness greatness. And in the case of Virginia Tech, it strolls your sideline and it leads your program. He now has guided the Hokies to 20 straight bowl games. Only 3 others in the history of college football have ever done that with a program. Bear Bryant, Tom Osborne, Bobby Bowden. Please welcome the winningest active college head coach, Frank Beamer. Welcome. Take a little time and let's talk shop a bit. Let's talk about tomorrow's game, but before we do that, Coach, you've had a chance now to meet Coach Flood. He's in the club now. What qualities do you see in Coach Flood? What do you admire with him?
Well, I think you watch the way his football team plays. You see, I think we talked about in our media a while ago, we kind of stress the same things. And you see it, toughness and try not to make mistakes and stress the kicking game. And then as I've gotten to know him, I think he is what he is, and you like that. He's a very sincere guy, and you know, I can see how under his leadership this football team did so well.
Coach, if somebody walked up to you and said, why has Frank Beamer had such sustained success, what would you tell them?
Before today, I knew what the things were that I admired in their program, and it's consistency of high-level play. And when you could talk about 20 straight bowl games, but I think the things that maybe the everyday fan doesn't think about, the consistency of his staff over the years, being able to have a group of guys and keep them together without a lot of change, those are the things that lead to you having consistency in the core values of your program, the ability to win year in and year out, play for national championships, play for conference championships, and then now having a chance to meet Coach Beamer in a little bit of a social setting, as you do in some of these bowl games, and having a chance to meet his wife with my wife last night, you can see why. You see the quality of the person. And again, for me, in my first bowl game, to have an opportunity to coach against Coach Beamer in a program of the stature of Virginia Tech, I mean, it's a dream come true.
Coach Beamer, we recently had a chance to talk, and you mentioned to me, specifically this team, how proud you are of them. How so?
Well, this football team went through some tough things. We didn't always play well, but we played hard for the most part. We had some tough losses, some things that just some adversity. Things don't go right, just like things don't always go right in life. And you have some bumps in the roads. But these guys hung together. They always they wanted to play better. They didn't point fingers. We continued to play hard. I'm proud of the fact we won the last 2 ball games when it didn't look good. And so I'm really proud of them. I think it's a group that's made out of the right things, and they answered adversity. And that's a great quality to have.
A group that makes for a lot of adversity for their opponents is your defense, a tremendous defense. What makes them so productive?
To me, the most important thing that we do on defense is play with passion. And I grew up in this profession as an offensive coach. And Coach Smith and our defensive staff, they do a tremendous job day in and day out of coaching those players. But without the passion to run to the football, without the passion to get people on the ground, without the passion to stop the run day in and day out, I don't think those things happen. And I think I was very fortunate. I watched that highlight film, and on offense, defense, and special teams, I was very fortunate to inherit a group that I knew could be special. And that defense is probably the most prominent part of that, and the one that most people know about. But really what those guys bring to the table day in and day out is a passion for excellence. And I couldn't be prouder of them for it.
We talked recently about the fact that this is not the same Rutgers program that Virginia Tech used to have as a conference foe. This is a program that's been ascending now for some years, and everything's in front of them. Where do you feel Rutgers football is right now, and where is Rutgers football headed?
I said day one when I got this job that I felt the time was right for Rutgers to win championships. And I said it because I believed it. I really believed that. And for us, when you talk about championships, you talk about bowl championships, conference championships, BCS championships, national championships. Before this year, we could never say that we had a Big East championship, a conference championship, and now we can. So I think we're one step closer to where we want to be, which is at that national championship. But to me, we have a championship program. We just need to keep rising and keep elevating our program one step at a time as we go.
Let's get into a bit of a scouting report for tomorrow night. People are going to tune in across the nation to see this game. Coach Beamer, when you're at your best, what are you able to do as a team?
Well, what we need to do better is run the football, and we've at times done that. We've been very good at throwing the football for the most part. We've protected well. Defensively, I think we've really improved, and I think it goes back to keeping our secondary healthy. And we've got on a good roll here at the end, getting pressure on the quarterback, and we need to do that because these guys can really throw the football. And then we've had some good moments in the kicking game this year, but we've had some not so good moments too. But I think the kicking game is going to be really important for both of us.
No doubt about that, always is, right? And I know you both guys value it so much. Coach Flood, beyond the headlines, talk about Kasim Green, the defense all day long, but point out a couple guys for us in this room right here who you feel were great contributors this year. Maybe go without all the headlines, unsung hero types.
You're setting me up for failure right now because I'm going to forget somebody. No, I'll tell you what, I'll talk about a couple of our seniors that maybe people aren't nationally as familiar with, but we're not here today without them. A guy who plays right next to Kasim Green is Steve Maharnis, and he is the middle linebacker, one of the captains of our football team, and does just a tremendous job of making sure we get lined up. He gets the defense called correctly, checked correctly, and then does a tremendous job of playing his position. And sometimes that leads to great statistics, and sometimes that leads to other people's great statistics. But I don't know if everybody around the country really appreciates all the things Steve Maharnis does for us as a football player on our defense. We have a guy, really two seniors who play defensive end for us, and they play the same position, Khalil Glaude and Marvin Booker. And both of those guys are converted defensive ends, and they play, when I talk about passion, if you were to watch those two practice, you would see passion for football because that's really where you see it. There's a lot of players around the country that want to play on game day. those two want to play every time they step on the field and it's time to practice. And those are two guys that are really leaders of our football team. And we have some guys in the secondary, guys like Marcus Cooper, a guy like Brandon Jones, a guy like Wayne Warren, 3 seniors who do so much for our football team. And I look at them and I realize that after this game is over, what we have to replace, not just on defense, not just on sub packages, but on all the special teams, the impact they have on special teams to keep us playing at a high level. You know, I don't know if those things are always appreciated by the everyday fan, but as coaches, they're invaluable.
Coach, you guys have been to the highest heights in this game, but each team writes its own story each year. What would a win in this bowl game mean for your team and your program right now?
Well, again, what we were talking about a while ago, the fact that they have hung in there, and if you could end it up with a win, win your last 3, I think, again, it just makes a great statement about their character and how they handle adversity and how they've handled disappointment. And, you know, to me, that's kind of what it's all about. That's what we're in the business for is, you know, try to win football games but teach life lessons. And I think this team right here has been through that and probably learned from this particular year.
Kyle, having a ring that says champions on it means something, doesn't it?
It does, and it's something that we have put a priority on in our program. And when we were fortunate to go to our first bowl game, we didn't win it, you know, back in 2005. Not the first bowl game we went to, but the first one I was a part of. And since then, we've been fortunate to win 5 in a row. And it's been a priority in our program to be a bowl championship, conference championship program. But for this group, it'll also give them a chance to make history. When you talk about how many years we've been playing football at Rutgers, to have an opportunity to be only the 3rd team in the history of our program to win 10 games, that's special. And that's another way that what I think is already a really special group of seniors and a really special 2012 team will have a chance to differentiate themselves from everybody else.
Coach Flood, Coach Beamer, always a pleasure to be with you guys. Best of luck tomorrow. Great job of leadership with these young men.
Could I say one thing?
Of course.
I always knew Russell Athletics had smart people, but to get hooked in with this bowl and how they do things and so forth, I think it's a win-win for both of you. So we appreciate Russell and we appreciate the people here in the bowl.
Great stuff. Gentlemen, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.